So this film just shows that Brad Pitt can make anything look cool, even F1. Greetings my fancy viewers, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about F1. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, stars Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, and Javier Bardem. So personally, I know nothing about F1. All I know is that cars go vroom. I don't know how any of the tournaments work or anything like that. So the only reason I went out to see this film is because of Joseph Kosinski. Now he directed Top Gun Maverick, which personally, I think is a little overrated. Like, I don't understand all the hype around that film. I think it's shot beautifully and the action looks really cool. But for me personally, it was a story that really bogged down that film. So with F1, I was hoping that things would be a little bit different, you know? It looked like it was going to have all the cool action and everything, but I was hoping for a really engaging story, which is what the trailer made it seem like this film was going to have. And unfortunately, most of the issues that I have with Top Gun Maverick are going to be pretty much the same issues that I had with F1. Now, I don't think F1 is a bad movie by any means, but is it really the huge cinematic blockbuster that everyone's hyping it up to be? Not really. The film is about Sonny, played by Brad Pitt, and he used to be a professional racer but had to retire after a tragic accident that happened while racing. And 30 years later, he meets up with his old friend Ruben, played by Javier Bardem. And Ruben wants Sonny to join his F1 team to help train his new protege driver, Joshua, played by Damson Idris. And it's a race against the clock as Sonny and Joshua always butt heads because one is older and one is younger, and they need to work together to help this team get up to the big leagues to get enough sponsors to earn enough money to keep the F1 team going. So I'm going to start off with the thing that I like the most about this film before I get into my complaints, and that is easily the action and set pieces. This film makes F1 actually interesting. Me personally, I don't see the appeal of sitting out in the heat all day watching cars just go around laps over and over again, but this film makes watching F1 go from this to this. The action here is so well done thanks to the cinematography done by Claudia Morando. They did such a beautiful job with this film by having POV angles of driving or having the camera attached directly to the cars. It's zooming around the track. It makes the action so intense as you're literally just holding on to your seat, watching these cars go hundreds of miles an hour. It's so well done here. Like, I was actually getting really invested with the racing. Like, personally, I don't like watching racing, but this was really cool to watch, and the lighting is also beautiful as well, especially at scenes shot during the night because you see the lights reflecting off of the cars and it looks so beautiful on the big screen. Another great technical aspect is the sound design. Like, your theater is going to shake for how loud these cars are. Listening to them just zoom by over and over again, hearing the engines rev up. The sound design is A freaking plus here. It's so cool just to hear all these cars just zoom on by and your theater's like sort of like vibrating, your seats vibrating because of how loud the theater is. Like, that's why you should go see it in IMAX as well, because of the amazing sound design. And also, my theater experience was actually very wholesome. Like, I was surrounded by like either really young teens or 40-year-old white men that are just hooting and hollering during the whole movie, just cheering on these racers going on this grand journey. Like, there were points in the film where it shows like text of like famous tracks, I guess, from F1, and I saw like a row of teenagers in front of me just point and like be like, oh, it's that one, it's that lap. Watching people like get references to F1 and actually enjoy this movie more than me was actually really wholesome to see. The dude next to me, who was like a 70-year-old man, had this pose the entire movie. Like, that's wholesome. Like, having this theater experience of just enjoying something with people that enjoy it more than I do was just fun. Like, it was a really fun experience watching this movie. And I am happy to say that my theater was packed during this. There were like no empty seats whatsoever in my theater. The last huge blockbuster that I saw like that was probably Top Gun Maverick. Like, there was not a single empty seat in my theater, and that just put a huge smile on my face. This director here makes a ton of great blockbusters, and he is helping theaters thrive and getting enough money for these film studios. So even though I'm not a huge fan of this movie, like, it's just so great to see a movie bring in a huge general audience to the screen. It was just so wholesome to see. Now, where the film does fall flat for me is its story, unfortunately. This is my issue with Top Gun Maverick, and it's no different here. The story here is pretty much like every other sports story you've ever seen. An old-timer comes in to help train a young protege to be the next big thing. They clash heads because his old teaching methods are a bit different than the new guy's teaching methods. They clash heads, but they end up making up and being good friends in the end. Like, everything that you see in old sports movies and newer ones is just like this film here. Like, I would say this film is 60% exhilarating with all the action and 40% boring. This movie is 2 hours long and you really do feel that timeline. By the end, I was really being like, okay, this film is really dragging, can we get this going? But I still had a good time, but the story is just really just formulaic and generic. There's nothing really here that was really exciting besides the races. I mean, that's kind of true to every other sports film. You don't really care about the story, you just care about, seeing the team win the big game. So the film does get its job done with its story, but for a huge blockbuster like this, I was hoping for just a little bit more. But like I said, people around me loved this film to death, but for me, on a critical side, I was just noticing so many glaring issues with its story and how generic it was. And while the characters are likable, they are very one-note. Each of them have pretty much the exact same personality as like every other character in every other sports film. The only character that really had enough going for them was Carrie Condon's character. Now, she is the generic love interest, but they do a little bit with her character by making her the first female car designer in F1 in this movie. I think that's what her job was. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But her character is somewhat interesting with that, but they never really go further than just her being like, oh, hey, I'm the only female that does this. Like, there's not really enough to her character to make me super invested, but her performance was good enough to get the job done. Now, when it comes to the performances, there's not really one that really stands out, except for maybe Javier Bardem. I did like his character quite a bit, how he's this stressed out guy just really wanting his team to succeed. I did like his character quite a bit because of his performance, but everyone else, they do okay. Like, there's nothing huge with their performances, it's just kind of just average. So would I recommend this film? Absolutely. Even though I didn't love it, I still think it's definitely worth seeing because of the technical aspects of this film. Plus, we should be going to see all the new blockbusters that help theaters thrive and survive. So, I think this film is definitely worth seeing. Just know you're going in to see a very generic sports film with some great cinematography and some great action sequences as well. Which is why I will bestow upon F1 the silver top hat. To all my fancy viewers out there, thank you so much for watching. For this first time here and you like what you've seen, be sure to subscribe for more content. Now, have you seen F1? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a fantastic night, and as always, stay fancy.